How to keep your brain young? Welcome back. Imagine two people standing side by side. One is 70 years old, full of energy, learning new skills, remembering details, and excited about the future. The other is only 40 but constantly complains about being tired, forgets important things, avoids learning anything new, and believes life has nothing left to teach them. Who has the younger brain? Most people think brain aging is determined by years, but neuroscience tells us something fascinating. While aging affects everyone, the way our brain ages is heavily influenced by how we live. A young brain is not simply a healthy brain, it is a curious brain. It is a brain that continues to adopt, learn, connect, and grow despite the passing years. The human brain is one of the most extraordinary creations in existence. It contains billions of neurons connected through trillions of pathways. Every thought you think, every memory you store, every skill you learn, and every dream you chase is made possible by this incredible organ. Yet, many people unknowingly allow their brains to age faster than necessary through inactivity, routine, stress, and neglect. The good news is that keeping your brain young does not require expensive treatment or magical solution. It requires daily habits that challenge, nourish, and protect your mind. Let's explore the powerful ways to keep your brain youthful, sharp, and vibrant throughout life. A brain that stops learning and starts aging. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that learning belongs to childhood and youth. Many people finish school, get a job, settle into routines, and gradually stop learning. They read less, question less, explore less, and challenge themselves less. But the brain was never designed to stop learning. Every time you learn a new language, read a book, solve a problem, practice a skill, or explore a new idea, your brain forms new neural connections. These connections strengthen the brain's flexibility and adaptability. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize and grow throughout life. Think about a road that is used every day. It becomes clear and easy to travel. Now imagine creating an entirely new road through a forest. At first it is difficult, but with repeated use it becomes stronger and more accessible. Learning works the same way in the brain. The moment you stop learning, you begin relying only on old mental pathways. Over time, your thinking becomes rigid, your memory becomes weaker, and your curiosity fades. But when you challenge yourself regularly, your brain remains active and youthful. This is why people who continuously learn often seem mentally younger than their age. Their brains are constantly building new pathways rather than simply using old ones. Curiosity is the secret weapon of a young mind. Children ask hundreds of questions because they are fascinated by everything. Why is the sky blue? How do birds fly? Why do stars shine? As people grow older, many lose this curiosity. They stop asking questions because they think they already know enough. But curiosity is one of the strongest signs of a young brain. Curiosity keeps the brain active because it constantly seeks new information. It transforms ordinary experiences into opportunities for learning. Curious people read more, explore more, travel more, and think more deeply. A curious brain refuses to become stagnant. It sees the world not as something already understood, but as something still waiting to be discovered. The day you stop being curious is the day your mental growth begins to slow. The day you start asking questions again is the day your brain begins growing once more. Physical exercise is brain exercise. Many people separate physical health from brain health. In reality, they are deeply connected. When you exercise, your heart pumps more blood throughout your body, including your brain. This increased blood flow delivers oxygen and nutrients that help brain cells function efficiently. Exercise also stimulates the release of chemicals that support the growth of new neural connections. It improves mood, enhances concentration, strengthens memory, and reduces the risk of cognitive decline. Even a simple daily walk can have remarkable benefits for the brain. Imagine two people. One spends most of the day sitting, barely moving. The other walks regularly, stretches, and remains physically active. Years later, the difference is often visible not only in their bodies but also in their minds. Movement keeps the brain alive. Every step you take is an investment in your future mental health. Sleep, the brain's night shift. Many people proudly say they only sleep 4 or 5 hours a night. They see sleep as wasted time, but nothing could be further from the truth. While you sleep, your brain is incredibly busy. It organizes memory, processes information, strengthens learning, repairs damage, and removes harmful waste products. Sleep is not a break from brain activity, it is one of the most important periods of brain maintenance. When sleep is constantly poor, memory suffers, focus declines, decision making becomes weaker, emotional control becomes more difficult. Over time, chronic sleep deprivation can accelerate brain aging. Think of sleep as the cleaning crew that arrives every night to restore and prepare your brain. Without that maintenance, mental clutter begins to accumulate. Protecting your sleep is one of the most effective ways to protect your brain. Stress can age the brain faster than time. Life is full of challenges. Stress itself is not the enemy. The real danger comes from chronic stress that never seems to end. When stress becomes constant, the body remains in a prolonged state of alertness. Stress hormones remain elevated, affecting memory, concentration, and emotional well being. A stressed brain often struggles to focus because it is constantly preparing for threats rather than processing information calmly. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to think clearly when you are overwhelmed? That is stress affecting your brain's performance. Learning to manage stress is not a luxury, it is a necessity for brain health. Meditation, prayer, deep breathing, exercise, journaling, spending time in nature, and engaging in hobbies can all help calm the mind. A peaceful mind is not only happier, it is also younger. Relationships keep the brain alive. Human connection is one of the most overlooked factors in maintaining a young brain. Meaningful conversations challenge the brain. They require listening, understanding, remembering, responding, and empathizing. These activities stimulate multiple areas of the brain simultaneously. People who maintain strong social connections often experience better cognitive health as they age. Loneliness, on the other hand, can negatively affect both mental and physical well being. A young brain is not isolated, it stays connected to people, ideas, and experiences. Every meaningful conversation is a form of mental exercise. Feed your brain like it matters. Your brain consumes a significant amount of your body's energy. The food you eat directly affects how well it functions. A diet rich in fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, fish, eggs, and whole foods provides nutrients that support memory, concentration, and long term brain health. Highly processed foods, excessive sugar, and poor nutrition can negatively affect cognitive performance. Hydration matters too. Even mild dehydration can reduce focus and mental clarity. Imagine trying to run a high performance machine using poor quality fuel. The machine may still work but not at its best. The same principle applies to your brain. Every meal is either helping your brain thrive or making its job more difficult. Purpose keeps the brain young. One of the most fascinating observations about mentally sharp older adults is that many of them have a strong sense of purpose. They wake up each morning with goals, projects, responsibilities, and dreams. Purpose gives the brain direction. Without purpose, people often drift into routines that require little thought or engagement. Their days become repetitive and mentally unstimulating. But when you have something meaningful to pursue, your brain remains active. It plans, adopts, solves problems, and continues growing. Purpose is not about achieving fame or wealth. It can be learning English, helping family members, building a business, teaching others, writing a book, or pursuing a passion. A reason to live is often a reason to stay mentally young. Keeping your brain young is not about stopping time, it is about refusing to stop growing. The brain ages fastest when it becomes trapped in comfort, routine, and inactivity. It stays young when it remains curious, challenged, connected, and purposeful. Read books, learn new skills, exercise your body, sleep well, manage stress, build meaningful relationships, eat nourishing foods, stay curious about the world. Because the true measure of youth is not found in the number of years you have lived, it is found in your willingness to keep learning, adopting, and growing. A person may grow older every year, but a mind that remains curious and engaged can stay young for a lifetime. How learning English keeps your brain young. Have you ever wondered why some people remain mentally sharp, curious, and energetic even as they grow older? One surprising reason is that they never stop learning. Among all the activities that keep the brain active, learning a new language, especially English, is one of the most powerful. Many people start learning English because they want better job opportunities, access to information, or the ability to communicate with people around the world. But there is another benefit that is often overlooked. Learning English can actually help keep your brain young. Every new word you learn, every sentence you build, and every conversation you practice acts like a workout for your brain. Just as lifting weights strengthens muscles, learning English strengthens the mind. Your brain loves challenges. The brain is designed to grow when it faces challenges. When life becomes repetitive and predictable, the brain receives fewer opportunities to develop new connections. But when you begin learning English, your brain enters a completely new environment. Suddenly, it must remember vocabulary, understand grammar, recognize sounds, and process meanings. These activities force the brain to work harder and create new neural pathways. Imagine a person who follows the same routine every day for years. Their brain uses the same mental roads repeatedly. Now imagine someone learning English every day. They are constantly building new roads inside their mind. The more roads they build, the more flexible and adaptable their brain becomes. This mental flexibility is one of the key characters of a young brain. English learning strengthens memory. Memory naturally weakens when it is not exercised. Just as muscles become weaker without physical activity, memory becomes weaker without mental activity. Learning English requires you to remember thousands of words, phrases, sentence structures, and pronunciation patterns. Every time you review vocabulary or recall a word during a conversation, you are training your memory. At first, it may feel difficult to remember new words, but that difficulty is actually a sign that your brain is working. Each time you successfully recall a word, the memory pathway becomes stronger. Over months and years, this continuous memory training helps keep the brain active and resilient. English learning improves attention and focus. Modern life is full of distractions. Social media, notifications, and endless entertainment often reduce our ability to focus for long periods. Learning English requires concentration. You must pay attention to what you hear, read, and say. You must notice small differences between words, sounds, and sentence structures. This sustained focus acts like exercise for your attention span. The more you practice, the better your brain becomes at concentrating. A brain that can focus well is often more efficient, productive, and mentally youthful. It makes your brain more adaptable. One of the biggest signs of brain aging is mental rigidity, the inability to adapt to new situations or learn new things. Language learning does the opposite. When you learn English, you constantly encounter unfamiliar words, expressions, and ways of thinking. Your brain must adapt and adjust. This process strengthens cognitive flexibility, which is the ability to switch between ideas, solve problems, and think creatively. People who maintain cognitive flexibility often remain mentally sharp longer because their brains continue adopting rather than becoming fixed in old patterns. English creates lifelong learning habits. Many people stop learning after finishing school. As a result, their brains receive fewer challenges as the years pass. English learning is different because it never truly ends. Even advanced speakers continue discovering new words, expressions, accents, and ideas. Learning English encourages a lifelong learning mindset. It teaches you to remain curious, ask questions, and seek knowledge. Curiosity is one of the strongest indicators of a youthful mind. The moment you stop learning, your brain begins slowing down. The moment you start learning again, your brain starts growing. English opens the door to new knowledge. A huge portion of the world's books, research, educational videos, and online content is available in English. When you learn English, you gain access to an enormous library of knowledge. You can learn about psychology, science, history, business, health, technology, and personal development directly from global sources. As you explore new subjects, your brain continues receiving fresh information and new perspectives. This constant exposure to ideas keeps the mind active and engaged. A brain that keeps discovering new things stays younger than a brain that stops exploring. Speaking English builds mental confidence. Learning English is not only about words, it is also about overcoming fear. Many learners are afraid of making mistakes, but every time you speak despite that fear, you train your brain to become more confident and resilient. Confidence encourages further learning, social interaction, and personal growth. These experiences stimulate the brain and keep it active. The process of learning English teaches an important lesson. Growth happens when you step outside your comfort zone, and a brain that regularly leaves its comfort zone remains young. English connects you with people. Human interaction is one of the best forms of mental exercise. When you communicate in English, you listen, understand, respond, and express ideas. These activities engage multiple parts of the brain simultaneously. You can connect with people from different countries, cultures, and backgrounds. Each conversation introduces new perspectives and experiences. Social interaction keeps the brain stimulated and emotionally healthy. It challenges you to think, adopt, and communicate effectively. A connected brain is often a healthier and younger brain. Learning English is much more than learning a language. It is a powerful form of brain training. Every new word strengthens memory, every conversation improves focus, every lesson builds new neural connections. Every challenge makes your brain more flexible and adaptable. While many people search for secrets to stay mentally young, one of the most effective solutions is already available. Never stop learning. And if you choose English as your learning journey, you are not only opening doors to communication and opportunity, you are giving your brain one of the best workouts it can receive. So, here is a question for you. If learning English can make your brain stronger, sharper, and younger every day, then what might happen to your future self if you spend just 30 minutes learning English every day for the next 5 years? Think about it and keep learning. Your brain will thank you for it. Before you go, I have a small request. If this video taught you something new or inspired you in any way, please subscribe to the channel. Every subscription helps this community grow and allows me to create more content that can help people learn, improve, and achieve their goals. Join us on this journey of continuous growth. Subscribe now and let's keep learning together.